Hey YouTube, this is the Art of Prepping. Thanks for joining me. This is the game Conflicted. I got this about a year ago from a friend. It's a very cool game. It's a deck of cards and it's a scenario-based game. What you do is you have a small group of individuals you're with. You pick a card and you read the card. Everybody gets a chance to respond to the question on the card of the scenario. These are all, of course, survival-based scenarios. And it has this cool guy on there. As you can tell, he has this like a Vietnam-era jacket on with a canteen, a Beretta 92 FS with a leather-style gas mask and binoculars, rope around his chest, and some kind of a bedroll and tarp on his back. And it's just a kind of a cool guy. And this guy, though, is on every one of the cards, and on the back is the scenario. And so everybody gets a point. Whoever gets the best answer. Of course, the group has to kind of vote on who has the best answer for the question. But after so many cards, at least this is how we play it, after maybe like 20 cards, you stop and you say, okay, we're done for the day. And we tally the points up, and whoever has the most points wins. It's all done in good fun, but it kind of helps you get thinking a little bit. I just went ahead and picked one off real quick here just to show you. You can see this is a real conflicted card for the game. And here's some of the information at the bottom just to prove that it is real. Okay, so the question on this particular card is, what event or series of events will lead to, in quotes, the end of the world as we know it, in your opinion? Sorry about that. There it is. Okay, so we got the question. So what kind of events are events? Well, we do know, of course, pretty much the sun will, when it starts to die and the helium stops transferring over and burning into helium, that it is going to actually get larger and larger and probably, swallow us up, if you will. So we do know that the Earth will not last forever, just because the sun will die out and expand in its dying phase and burn us up. So there's the real answer, but in between, is there something that could happen? I do think that there's some scenarios. Now, just because even if we had a nuclear winter and everybody nuked each other, and the sky is dark for 50 to 100 years or whatever they say, everybody has different numbers. That there's still people could still survive. There's still people that could be sheltered. They have long-term, cash systems, food banks. It could be maybe just the elite of the elite, or various governments may have, unbelievable redundancies, but that we don't even know of. There might also be renewable resources underground in various bunker systems that we're not aware of, or technologies we're not aware of, to grow food for almost indefinitely. So I still think that humankind as a species could survive even a nuclear winter. It would not be good, and I think that over 90% of the world would probably die, probably in the first year or two, no doubt about it. But in terms of answering this question, since I'm long-winded, I think that the most likely, though, or it says here, what is event or events of a series of events that will lead to the end of the world as we know it. So it doesn't really mean a complete extinction. It says as we know it. So it just means that things are so radically changed that the world is so different. I would have to say, though, probably either through a very large pandemic that is just so horrendous in nature, possibly a man-made, type of disease or pestilent or some kind of plague that gets out, maybe out of a containment center, and it just starts wiping everybody out. That could be one, but maybe the most likely is if we got hit by maybe like an asteroid that did such damage. That could be, causing tidal waves and, major like super tsunamis. That's very plausible. But since I have to pick one, I'd probably say, though, the end of the world as we know it, I think that I'd have to settle on probably the advancement of socialism, liberal type of ideologies, the social creep that gets back into hardcore communism. I think that's going to happen long term when we start having more full-on New World Order type of activity. And I do think this is going to be in full effect probably in the next 10 to 20 years. At the very latest, maybe 50 years from now, most of the world will be unrecognizable in terms of its structures of government and leadership. It will be very totalitarian. And this is just my viewpoint, of course. But I think that will lead to such a suppression of liberties and rights, and even the right to live, that people would just be killed for a lot of reasons that would be just unheard of now. And so I think that that would be the end of the world as we know it for a lot of people, because the powers to be have always said, as they're part of their agendas, that they want to reduce the population of the world. And so I think that they're already doing a pretty good job of it now, with all the cancer and all the GMOs and all the crap in the food and in the water and in the air. So they're already actively killing us right now. But I think they'll just put it full throttle once they have that full control over everything. And they're almost there right now. Some speculation that they already do have control. They're just not outward about it. But I think that when the New World Order gets in full effect, that it's so outward that it's not even going to be debated anymore. I think it's going to be within a window of time there that people will just start dying off, just in herds, like just dropping off like flies, and that's because it'll be done on purpose. Engineered death is what I think that it'll be called, and so that's, unfortunately, that's how I see the things in the future, and so that's probably the most likely, and it could come in also in forms of nuclear war. The New World Order may just to kind of dissolve the last few sovereign nations, may put one nation against another and create false flags to create these wars, and just to go ahead and eliminate that resistance, if you will, and those who have the heart and mindset of liberty, or know about liberty and freedom, and that love freedom. And so I think that's probably the way to go in terms of this question, is something of that nature. But once again, I think that certainly something could hit the Earth, causing major problems, or even a nuclear winter. A holocaust of that nature would be changing everything as the world as we know it. Not extinguishing, of course, the population, but certainly such. So, anyways, you can see how such a simple question from the game Conflicted can really get you thinking. And so I don't typically think about these kind of things or this type of question. So I had to dwell on it for a minute, as you can see. But I had different things. But of course, you have to pick one. And so it's kind of an interesting game, fun game. Not a lot of my friends like to play it because it is a little bit doom and gloom. In fact, it's pretty depressing, really, to read these. But every once in a while, just for the fun of it, I even take them out and just pick one or two. Maybe like every few weeks, I'll just kind of look at one just for the fun of it. So this could be an actual something that we could actually use for this channel. Every once in a while, I may pull a card out just to jazz things out a little bit and throw a question your way. I may even try to answer it like this right here, and then just see how and where we end up. As always, thanks for watching. Let's check this out. I think that these were on Amazon. I got these as a gift, so I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure these were sold on Amazon for, I think, roughly between $7 to $12. I'm just guessing. And so if I remember correctly, about a year ago, I looked them up, and that's the last time I remember. But so it's a pretty cool game. I think they might even have different versions out now. I'm not for sure, but I do believe this is the original Conflicted game. And some of these questions that I've seen are pretty intense and pretty extreme. And so you kind of have to really scratch your head and go, man, how would I do or deal with that situation? Because they're not all hypothetical based like this in terms of end of the world, all very generic, broad questions. Some of them are very specific. So, okay, guys, I'm going to jump off here and make another video. You guys take care.